Hey guys, okay, doing a pretty simple modification to this Ariens Ikon XD 52-inch zero-turn mower today. I'm going to be adding a grease Zerk to the spindle on the other side. I've already done this side. They don't come with a grease Zerk from the factory, so you have no way to easily grease the top and bottom bearing in this front spindle. And these wheels see a lot of abuse. They're the first thing that hit the ground when you're mowing, and they do a lot of spinning around, as most of you know. So being able to grease these easily is a must. A lot of the commercial mowers have a grease fitting here, so this is more of a residential model, so I can kind of understand why they don't have it, but you know, it's a pretty cheap install at the factory. But you can do it pretty easily yourself. It takes under 15 minutes, I want to say, per side, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now over on the other side there. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is disassemble this spindle here. I've got a 9/16 socket. Just going to hold the wheel. Get that out of the way. So you got a bolt, lock nut or lock washer, and there's a dust cap. And there's a little spring type washer there that sat on here that just sprung out of the way. So there's your top bearing, and we're just going to actually remove the whole wheel. You can jack this up if you want, but usually you can just pick it up and it'll fall out, and then the other wheel will hold it up. And that's the spindle when it comes out. So that's just a metal shaft, and then you've got your bearing here. And you can see this machine it's not even a year old, and you can see all that rust build up in there just from the moisture that builds up in this tube here. So grease, yeah, it helps grease the bearing, but it also helps keep rust and everything out of this tube, and you know, make it last a little bit longer. So we're going to be able to grease that. So I'll just slide that back on there. And then this top one, just using the end of a wire brush handle here, and then there's your top bearing. Okay, and then anybody wants to know if you're replacing these bearings, what they are: 1641 RLD, and these ones are by Peer, P-E-E-R, made in China. These ones are, you know, under a year old, so I'm obviously going to keep them. If you look down in here, you can see rust starting to form. So by adding that grease Zerk, that's going to stop that. So I'm just going to go in there with a wire brush, just clean that out. Okay, so you can put the fitting wherever you want. I'm just going to put it halfway up on the back, just so you know, if you were to hit any brush, it'd be on the back side. And then you just have to pick yourself up a grease Zerk. They come in many different styles. This one happens to be a 1/4 28 thread. Just normal grease fitting there. And that requires me to use a 7/32 drill bit. And then we're going to tap that. Make sure there's no burrs. You don't want those getting into the bearing. And then we're going to install the fitting. You can put a little bit of thread locker if you want. I'm not going to bother. I'll just tighten it down, keep an eye on it. There we go, that's installed. And now we just need to modify the bearings. Okay, so this is the top bearing that was sitting in there like that. Obviously, you need to have the grease actually get into the bearing, so you're gonna wanna remove this inner seal. I'm just using a little pick here. You can probably use a sharp screwdriver, whatever works. Pop that out. So that looks like, you can throw that away. You can see very minimal grease from the factory, but those are the bearings we're trying to grease. Now this will be debatable whether or not you should remove this outer seal. I would say no, because you do want to keep some sort of barrier there to keep any dirt. You saw when I took that cap off, there was dust in there. You want to keep any dirt from getting into there. I mean, yes, now we're going to be putting pressurized grease through this bearing, and it's going to be squeezing out the top, which will displace the dirt, but I think I'm going to leave it in, and I'm going to let the grease sort of break that seal. It might pop it out a little bit, but it'll still stay generally in place, and it'll just help, along with the grease, fight off dirt and moisture getting in there. And I mean, it should work fine. So that one's prepped. That's ready to go. So put that off the side. And then we have to, this is the bottom one. So take that. Remove that seal. And again, I'm leaving the seal on the bottom of this one, so it slides back onto there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and reassemble everything. I'm just going to lift up the mower. Sure that bearing's up in there. Go. Drop this one in from the top. Put it on the spindle. And then align it there so it drops in. Put our spring washer. Dust cap. A bolt with locking washer. Okay, so now we're gonna fill up the cavity along with the two bearings with grease. And we're basically just gonna kind of go, you know, fast at first because you know it's gonna fill up, and then sort of slow, and then wait till you see just this smallest amount of grease poking out through. Okay, so if you look, just under there, you can see the first little bit of grease coming through. So at that point, you might as well just stop because it'll just keep trying to take the easiest path, come through there. But it'll sort of, as you use it, it'll just keep working its way around and down and everything. And then, you know, just give it a little bit more in a couple of days. And I'd probably grease it. I don't know. There's no really hard and fast rule, but, you know, every couple of months probably be fine. Maybe twice a year. Just be mindful of it. Anything's better than what it was from the factory. So hopefully that helps you guys make this more last a little bit longer. Thanks for watching.